The Baptistry of Neon is probably the oldest monument in Ravenna, since the beginning of its construction dates back to the end of the 4th century, when Bishop Ursus began to build the cathedral. It is also called the Orthodox Baptistry to differentiate it from the other one in the city, the Arian Baptistry, that was built when Arianism became the state religion under the reign of Theodoric. The appellation of Neon was awarded in the 5th century, when Bishop Neon ended it, adding a mosaic dome in place of the original cover. Externally, the building has the typical styles of the Romanesque aesthetic. The walls are bare, deliberately with 4 niches radiating outwards and blind arcades upstairs. The number of the sides of the structure, 8, is not random, but it is the sum of the 7 days of the world's creation and the 8th day of resurrection and eternal life. This numerology is also found in the Ambrosian baptistries. The baptistry has collapsed by about 3 meters compared to the current level, probably because of the subsidence the territory on which the city stands is subject to. This has decreased the impact that the construction would suggest. Internally, the room consists of 2 floors, marked by 2 orders of arcades, and by a mosaic ceiling. To have a better description, you should start directly from the center of the dome and then gradually descend to the lower floors. On top of the building, the mosaic represents the baptism of Christ by St. John the Baptist. On the right side of the image, you can see a personification of the Jordan River, depicted as an old man who offers Jesus a green cloth to dry himself. The deification of the river, reported by the abbreviated inscription Jordan Numen, clearly belongs to the Roman culture. The scene was restored by the Roman Felice Kibel during the 19th century by introducing completely erroneous iconographic subjects which belonged to his contemporary culture. The Baptist holds a patera that is purely fictitious, since St. John's arm rested on Christ's head, as the baptism was made by immersion, as shown also in the mosaic of the Arian baptistry. Continuing outwards, 12 apostles appear, smartly dressed and holding a crown, symbol of martyrdom. The Byzantine solemnity matches well the Roman suave elegance in these richly dressed figures. Each figure is separated from the other one by a plant, probably acanthus, as if it creates a series of large candlesticks. Under Christ's feet you can see the Saints Peter and Paul. The decorative ring at the Apostles' feet and under the red edging consists of 8 niches containing the 4 Gospels and the throne alternatively. Above each seat is a shell, a pagan symbol of Venus's birth, altered in meaning by the Christians to indicate rebirth to eternal life. This sequence of images, for its chromatic and figurative style, resembles those found in Pompeii, evidencing the still lively relations with Rome. Going down along the sides of the structure, there are 8 large arcs. In the middle there is a window, while to the right and to the left, collected in niches, you can see stuccos of prophets of the Old Testament. The dress is elegant, with laticlaved tunic and a pallium, typical of Roman senators. Many of these plasters were removed during a restoration in the late 19th century, as they were considered as 17th century works. They were subsequently rebuilt, but with a neutral tint. Above the tympanum of each niche, there are other scenes from the Old Testament, such as Daniel among the lions or Jonah. The arcades below represent a Leech polychrome mosaic with acanthus leaves on a blue background. It should be noted that rising from the lower floor to the center of the dome, the brightness sensation guaranteed by the gold color increases while approaching the figure of Christ. Furthermore, the complexity and number of figures decreases with increase in altitude, as if the multiplicity could be referred to the one of God. In the center of the baptistry, you can see a large octagonal pool for baptisms by immersion, on which a Greek marble pulpit of the late 5th century stands.